Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Cloud9's turn to ban. Radiant team ban.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back into the Dota Pit League Season 2 group stages with Cloud9 versus Denial Esports here in Group B. Of course, our second game of the series about to get underway. We just had quite a long game one, and I gotta say it was worth the wait to see the ending. A climactic finish, to be sure. Eternal Envy sitting at about 40k net worth with a Divine Rapier, Abyssal Blade, pretty much everything you could think of in terms of farm. He died, didn't get the Rapier at the end, but unfortunately, that was Denial going down. Cloud9 get their first victory. Fortunate for them, as they do start off to a good start here in Dota Pit. Again, my name is Mutt. I will be joined again by F4L, as always. F4L, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing good. And yeah, like you said, the end of that game was really exciting, but we had a pretty good wait to get to that ending. Probably about, there's like probably 30 minutes of not really too much happening in that last game.
It was just kind of sit back and farm for about 30 minutes or so, like you said, and not much action. A bit boring, but it was exciting in other aspects. It was really, really cool to see Denial control the map the way they did. And they're going to look to do that again because they pick up the Beastmaster, and they're just going to try to get an early gem, get the Scout Hawks out as much as possible, and then just kind of take over the map. This time they won't have that dire side advantage, although some would say that doesn't exist anymore. I'd say they're probably wrong. It's honestly going to be very interesting to watch and see how this develops in the draft, because I think the Beastmaster was a good pick last game. I don't know about this game.
So the dire side advantage, it definitely exists still in like going later into the game.
Remaining.
But I think Radiant still has quite an advantage in the laning stage. Both the pulling on the Radiant is far superior than on Dire, as well as the offlane being better for Radiant, so I would say it's pretty balanced. In fact, most teams choosing Radiant most of the time, but, you know, Dire still has an advantage, I would say, in the late game in terms of Roshan, particularly. And Cloud9 go ahead and first pick the Shadow Demon again, and they're going to go ahead and pick it up with the Elder Titan this game, so...
That's frightening. That's not a combination that you... Well, it's not really the combination, it's just the Elder Titan in general. Although Disruption into Stomp could be pretty bad in its own right, but... I mean, Elder Titan's been picked up a lot. I think he's probably been the biggest comeback in this patch in terms of heroes that haven't been picked, and then all of a sudden have been picked like crazy. Yeah. And I think you can thank Secret for that for the most part.
I mean, we did see a lot of Elder Titan mid for a while, even a little bit in the offlane, but now we're seeing a tremendous amount of this hero, and it just scales so well into the late game, and I think that's why he's sort of come back into this patch, because most games tend to go a bit later than they used to, and you really have the chance to really abuse that natural order.
The natural order becoming significant later on, and I mean, anytime you can get, what is that, 100% physical reduction, armor reduction rather, and base resist reduction.
It's 100% base armor reduction and 33% base magic reduction.
It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but I mean, you know, the problem is getting levels with the hero being used for early on in the game, especially as a support. If you're in the off lane or in the mid lane, there's no problem getting those levels, but those aren't the best matchups for him right now. And on top of that, I mean, you won't be able to get CS if you're put in those lanes generally. The Spirit nerf really made sure that he wasn't going to be able to get that much CS in regards to facing off against another hero. That was a while ago, a couple patches back. Now he's used primarily as a support. He's quite good. Treant Protector picked up for Denial. Their old standby for a little bit. And it's quite a good hero.
Radiant
I think.
team ban.
Living armor. It's good.
Fucking Mad picking up from his predecessor, Gallblack, who he used to play with on team where they
Quantic?
It was Quantic? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, Quantic. And so going back to that, they really like these really tanky support heroes. So I think in the last game they didn't really show it, but I've seen them run a lot of Treant Protectors and LOAs in the past. Not necessarily together, but they just like these heroes. They provide a lot of tankability to your team. They're very supportive in nature, and
reserve time.
I think they have their place, and especially when they've already shown both of their support heroes, and neither of these have a real good way of dealing with the Treant armor, it's quite a good pickup this game.
Yeah, it's I think it's a smart choice, smart decision. I don't know if it should have been picked second. Yeah. I'm not sure it would have gotten banned by Cloud9, but
both of these picks are, you could probably say, aren't standard as far as either their pick location or just being picked in general, for that matter.
Yeah, I'd agree. And also, maybe the Beastmaster gets banned second phase from Cloud9. I can understand that after what happened in the first game, but I don't see the necessity to pick the Treant here. Although
I think they played the Beastmaster extraordinarily well last game. That was probably one of the best usages of Beastmaster I've seen in quite some time. They did a really good job using the Hawk, and they did an excellent job. Once he picked up that gem, I mean, you could just see it from Cloud9. They couldn't do anything for the next 20 minutes. They had to play extremely careful. They had no map control. Denial were able to get, I believe, 3 Roshans consecutively with no contest, and they used the pick extremely well. I just think they were sort of outpicked just in the sense that it was the gyrocopter and he was just getting killed every fight before they had any real defensive capability. But they really played the Beastmaster extremely well last game, and they're going to go ahead and pick up the Lycan.
This is a really good pick. This is a really solid pick. It's a lot of melee heroes, yes, but at the same time, you provide him enough survivability with living armor to keep him alive. Roar's going to allow him to lay into whatever hero they want to. The only way you're going to, I think, bring him down is either getting a Ravage off or a Stomp. A Disruption might help. Demonic Purge isn't going to do much there. And it's a smart pick because split pushing is going to be really solid. He'll be able to take down towers. He is on the Radiant side, mind you, so that maybe is an issue for Denial Esports. But at the same time, I think this is a good hero.
Yeah, it's also a hero that's going to go for the Vlads and the AC. So, and that's part of your standard item progression. So anytime you're against this Elder Titan, it's really intelligent to pick up a hero that wants to go these items. You know, a lot of times you're sort of forced into these items on heroes that maybe you don't really want to buy them on. But, I mean, that's just a standard item path for Lycan. So.
Faceless Void.
Well, they will pick up the Faceless Void for Cloud9. This is a good counter pick, I think. Make sure the Lycan can't run away. Chronosphere is going to be super huge to have. And this is just, it's a guaranteed team fight if you can catch heroes inside of it. I think this is a good choice. And on top of that, it provides, I mean, Elder Titan is going to be nearby, so Natural Order is going to be in effect. These two heroes together are damn good. I'm surprised they didn't ban it out, actually. Stomp will be there, Earth Splitter will be there, Tidehunter will be there with Ravage if necessary, or he could even start off the fight with that. So suddenly this becomes, you know, more of an issue on, can we not get caught out when we're split pushing? Can we not get Chronosphere? And how effective can we shut down this Faceless Void? How effectively can we make sure he's not getting any farm?
Reserve time.
I mean, I think Void will be effective in the late game, but in the early game, I don't think he's actually going to be very effective in this game. They have the Treant armor to throw on whoever Void focuses in the Chrono.
Right.
They also have the Treant ult to sort of lock him down inside the Chrono. So, you know, it's not a terrible pick. It's just like, and where are they going to lane the Faceless Void? They already have the Tidehunter, so is that going to be a safe lane Void? And we've seen the issues that safe lane Void does run into. You know, it's not really the best one position hero just because you can't really go up and hit a building. You don't really want to start a fight. You really want to be that sort of counter initiator with the Chronosphere.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I think you're right about the fact that you're not getting much damage done in the early game, but that's not where they expect him to be a force, like you mentioned. It's more so the late game, and even mid to late game, I think he becomes kind of an issue. But Jakiro picked up for Denial. This is a really good pick, I think, and more than likely going to be a support Jakiro, I think. Although this doesn't provide that much lockdown if it's Tree and Jakiro support duo. So they could lay him elsewhere as a core, but it could be Beastmaster mid, Jakiro off lane, but I doubt that'll happen. But more than likely, I think it's a support in this situation.
Yeah. It could be a core.
Radiant team.
And they're going to go with the Death Prophet last pick. Wow. So
That's
last
scary.
picking the Death Prophet. Death Prophet actually going to be a really strong pick this game. So they're going to have... So Void no longer really has to be doing that much damage in these fights. He can just pop the Chronosphere on... You know, if he can get it on 2 or 3 heroes, that would be great. And then the Exorcism is really going to be doing the majority of the damage at that point. And Exorcism quite good against the tree armor. Going to be able to remove that extremely quickly. Cloud9, I mean, this draft is very greedy coming out from them. But if they're able to survive the early game, I think they're going to have tremendous mid-game power with the Death Prophet and Faceless Void, along with even the Tidehunter and Elder Titan. I mean, all these heroes are so good in the mid-game.
And they picked the Witch Doctor last for Denial. Want to make sure that they have something to do with inside the Chronosphere, assuming Witch Doctor doesn't get caught in it. On top is pretty good for preventing aggression, but Voodoo Restoration as well as an ICL is going to provide some boon to their team. I mean, Tree Protector plus Witch Doctor, the read's real. Now, the question is, how much is this actually going to do? I mean, it's just a Witch Doctor. You shouldn't have too many hopes. However, the Rubik last game for Mad did connect that game, so there's always the opportunity in the end that they can get something done with this pick. And honestly, this is probably going to be a game where you see Faceless Void farming more than you'd expect. I mean, you see Faceless Voids all the time. They pick up Treads, they pick up Mask Madness, and they start fighting. This game, because of what EE did last game, I think Envy probably just farms up a couple more items, and I imagine he'll go for a Mask